And hello, Orville Nation. Welcome, everybody. We're going to start real soon, and it's time to talk some Trek. And hello, Orville Nation. Good to see everybody. And a lot of you were just on the stream a few minutes ago with us at on Maria's Tea and Telly pumpkin carving. So thank you for joining us. And Colleen, thank you for becoming a channel member. Colleen, we're about to start our member streams this week. This week we have a let me put up the image for this week. Thank you for joining us, guys. Colleen, by the way. Colleen, you now have a wrench. The way Orville Nation works, our trusted YouTuber creators in the chat. Now you have a wrench to go ahead and promote your channel during our stream. And I ask everybody who has a channel, like John DeMarco, and everybody else, anybody else I see who has a channel, please go ahead and promote it. Galinda. Let me just say hello to everybody. Galinda, hello, Galinda. JRC, Philip Gaming also has a channel. Orville actor Philip Gaming. We gotta get Philip on here real soon. Hello, Troy Pacelli. Good to see you, my friend. Lord Thoth. Good to see you, my friend. Time Prophet. Good to see you. Lydia from Orville 24/7 is here, and we're going to get Lydia on here at some point. We're going to convince her to join us for a stream. Sandra Feliciano, good to see you, Sandra. JRC99, good to see you. TJ, author TJ, Sci-Fi Quest. That's TJ Manrique. Sometimes you don't know whether to say a person's full name or not, because but your name's in the public. So John DeMarco, good to see you. John DeMarco and all his Luminites. Gain strength from sharing. Yes. So let me put up the image of our first, it's going to be Thursday. I'll be putting up the times this week. So Thursday, hello, Netter. Good to see you, Netter. Netter, please put in your, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Netter. Do exactly as Netter has done, guys. If you have a wrench, please go ahead and put in your channel. Hello, Judicon. Good to see you, Judicon. So please put in your channels, guys. Let me just share. So we start our streams here on Thursday, our member stream, and we're going to be focusing on Yaphet. And you guys, we're going to be focusing on Yaphet, and we're going to have a little special backstory on Yaphet, and we're going to try to enjoy Yaphet and Norm in honor of Norm's birthday, who was a couple of days ago was Norm's birthday, and we're gonna do that this week, and that will be on the members only stream. So we're going to be talking the big secret of Yaphet. What is Yaphet's big secret? And then we're gonna reveal that. Of course, this is kind of a PJ canon of Yaphet. It's not official canon, but it's actually interesting. So they might be interested in making it canon someday. So we're going to do some PJ canon of Yaphet, and we're gonna be in honor of Norm. So, and that is Sandra's channel. Well, that's King Dolphin TV. That's King Dolphin TV, which is both of their channels. There's her and Raymond's. Hello, Professor Brainy Specs. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see everybody in here. Guys, this is Colleen's channel. She is a healer and author, and she is part of our community. Make sure you are subbed to Colleen. I know some of you guys might not be subbed to her, and vice versa. If you're not subbed to anybody in here, please do. Hello, Dave's Dimensions, our favorite Ghostbuster. Good to see you, Dave. And subbing to everyone, says Lord Thoth. Yes, guys, we grow together. We grow together, guys. That's the best support you can give somebody, is give them a sub. And guys, if you can please share, like, one of the best supports you guys can give is to share out this stream. So please share it out if you have a chance. Share it out of your social media if you don't mind. Take a second and share out the stream. So Thursday we have the members only stream, Yaphet's Big Secret. And today we're going to be talking about healing for Trekkies. And let me just, oops, that's not it. Let's see, healing for Trekkies. All right. So let's put up the correct image. Hello, LDG. Good to see you, LDG. Good to see you, my friend. Let's talk healing for Trekkies today. Share your pain. Yes. God knows you need some Trek. We all need some Trek healing. So there's a lot going on in the fandom right now. And great, guys, you're subbing. Awesome. Thank you, guys, subbing to each other. Maybe Picard 3 might do it. I want to talk a little bit about that, about Picard season 3. But I want to talk about, I really think, we've all had, I do want to, it's important that people's feelings are expressed. A lot of times in the fandom, when people are expressing themselves online, they are misinterpreted. And I want this to be a safe space for your gripes and for growth. I want this to be a safe space for gripes and for growth. We've had some chance over last few days to think about Picard season 3, and we will see what happens with that. But once we see it, we'll know for sure. But what I want to do now is I want to ask everybody, give us because I know you guys, I know there's a lot of heartache. There is a lot of heartache in the fandom. And hello, Captain Fandom Nerd. Good to see you. Like Captain Fandom Nerd, for example. Heartache? Talk about heartache right there. Captain Fandom Nerd used to be Captain Trek. There was a point where he said, I can't take it anymore. Like this, new Trek is not representative of me. And he had to change his name very recently. He hung in there for a while. Captain Fandom Nerd hung in there for a while. Greetings and felicitations. Hip, hip, hurrah. Tally ho, says Mr. Lundell. Good to see you, Mr. Lundell. Guys, don't forget to put in your channels. Hello, Resolute Germ. Like Resolute Germ has a channel. Please don't forget to put in your channels, guys. Use the wrenches you have. And please put in your channels. There are always new people in our chat. So if you are not subbed to one of these channels, make sure you do. And so I'm going to ask everybody, gripes. Let's start out with gripes. Then we'll go with growth. We start out with gripes. Gripes. Give me one of your biggest gripes on New Trek. Everybody in the chat. I'm asking everybody. What are some of your? You don't have a wrench, Mr. Lindell? Hold on a sec. How do you not have a wrench? Here. If that's my bad, if you don't have a wrench. There you go, my friend. You should have one. Yeah. Okay. So make sure you guys are following Mr. Lindell. And I love Dagra, says Glenn. It was a good character, yeah. Guys, Colleen, I know Colleen is new to our channel here, so you guys are probably not subbed to her. Make sure you do. I'm gonna, I want to hear your thoughts on these last few years. What have you guys felt these last few years? Are there certain things about New Trek that stick out to you that you've been holding in? Let's talk about that. I want to talk about that. Time Prophet says New Trek is so dark and despondent. Gene Roddenberry would want to show a better future. I agree. Certainly, Star Trek Discovery started out very dark, for sure. O'Brien must suffer, says Philip Gaming. Colleen is kind of an accord with Time Prophet there. I really did not like the lighting of New Trek. That's very little seen of it. It's interesting because it's not just dark in tone, but it's actually also physically dark, right? It's visually dark. Major gripe with New Trek: they insult my intelligence. Absolutely, Mr. Lindell. There are problems with that. I will listen. One thing that gets me, as I'm reading your gripes, one thing that gets me, for example, and it's a very simple thing, but as far as insults our intelligence, it goes, like Mr. Lindell is saying, the fact that in Picard season 2, Guinan's bar on Earth, hundreds of years before the Enterprise D was, christened, we see that we see that we see that her bar on Earth, where is it, in Los Angeles? I don't know exactly where it is. Some in California. We see that her bar is called 10 Forward. That is a problem. That is a problem. That is a problem because 10 Forward is a geographical place on the ship. It is a physical location on the chip, on the ship, on the ship. There are too many things that violate canon. Spock has been stripped of his logic and dignity. Yeah, Spock has been stripped of his logic. It's a really bad interpretation of and we have to realize too that even though in the pilot, you may have seen Spock laughing in the original series, Gene Roddenberry had not there was a few things he had not ironed out yet. That's one reason it was a pilot and not episode 1 of season 1. So there was a lot of there was a lot of exclusion. It was excluding very exclusive. Excuse me, exclusive. It was very excluding of males in general, and especially in the first couple seasons of Discovery. Yeah, it was a very tone. It was very misandrist tone against men in a lot of the writing. Give me one sec. I'll be right. Sorry, I'm back. Um, yeah. So Colleen, got to make sure you sub to Colleen. Um, One of my biggest gripes with the new Trek is that most of it is dark and depressing instead of hopeful and optimistic. Absolutely, that is the one. That is probably the number one problem. Have they changed their tone? I guess so. The tone has been changed. There are other problems, of course. Um, New Trek spend more time trying to show diversity over telling story. Yeah. Um, there are lots of shots, for example, of the bridge um, that seem to be just exhibiting. Um, uh, it's interesting because for example, on Discovery, they're exhibiting the crew and the diversity of the crew, but there's problem with story because like so many YouTubers have mentioned, it's hard to remember all the characters on the it's hard to remember the characters on the bridge on Discovery because their stories have not been developed. There's problems with the writing for sure. Felt that Dave's Dimension sorry Dave's Dimension felt with Discovery that stories feel like preaching and not storytelling. Yeah, there is preaching. There is preaching. Absolutely. Galinda, I just saw Randy Osby on episode of Lie to Me. Oh, okay. Hello, JRC. Good to see you, JRC. Above all, I cannot stand the divisive nature of New Trek. Yes, New Trek has destroyed canon, but the divisive politics has become the foundation. Yeah, that is another problem. That that is another problem. Being divisive in many ways, right? And current politics should not be included in current day politics should not be included in story, and current day politicians should not be playing characters in the story. It's like New Trek is trying to be Star Wars. Everything is dystopia. This is Colleen. Klingon ships are always dark. Fleet ships were always bright and cheerful. Very true. Captain Fandom Nerd, good to see you. These are the channels, guys. Make sure you are sub to your colleagues. Sonar in space. Well, Tori, it's where do we say about sonar in space? Um, I can enjoy New Trek as long as I tell myself it's science fiction without Trek, without the Trek universe. I'd like it better if they had called it something else. If they had called it something else, they would be in a whole different they'd be the problem is that they don't want to call it something else because they want the established audience to come watch it. But a good portion of probably 2/3 of the established audience does not want to see it, of course. We don't need to say current day politics and views in Star Trek. No, we don't. 10 forward is the address on Earth. Oh God. Yeah, Mr. Lundell. I don't know if you were in here when I first said it. Yeah. Or maybe that's comment because I said it. Yeah. 10 forward is a problem. Yeah, I think it's a problem. Wagyu, good to see you. Honestly, I've not managed to get to the end of last season of STD yet. It struggles, not seen any S&W yet. Strange New Worlds. I like Lower Decks season 1. I hear good things about subsequent episodes, but not seen yet. Okay. The one thing about a lot of the new Trek that is okay to me, because it was so outsourced. Nickelodeon was involved, and it's obviously for kids. I thought the tone of Prodigy for a kids show, Kate Mulgrew did a good job. They have a legacy episode in there that is very respectful to Trek. So I thought Prodigy was interesting as a children's show, and it was the only show I have seen that did not, considering it's a kids show, uh, it did not really rub me the wrong way. Um, that's the heel. Yes, Colleen. Hello, Ben Thatcher. Biggest gripe: using the show as a platform for a specific message rather than posing questions to think about that may have more than one interpretation. Exactly, Ben. And that is exactly what Seth has done with the Orville. He poses questions. He gives him and the him and his team. They pose questions. They present sides to the argument and let the viewer decide, just like a traditional science fiction has done. And otherwise, you feel like you're being preached to, of course, like some of you guys have mentioned before. Dave's mentioned Discovery somewhat feels like it's trying too hard. Trek has always felt natural, felt relatable, and Discovery has lost that. Personally, I enjoyed Strange New Worlds tremendously, says Dave. Okay. John DeMarco, and it doesn't help that Discovery, Picard, and Strange New Worlds are terrible continuity. Those are issues. Those are issues, John. Yeah, for sure. One real Spock, says Prophet. Listen, at some point, for example, the Zachary Quinto Spock, the casting, at some point, obviously, we're not going to have the original actors around, and it's already true of many of them. So at some point, a recast of a younger version of the character is acceptable, but when you do those kind of things, it has to be done with great care, extremely great care. And having Spock singing in the elevator is not the way to go, for sure. Here's a problem with Picard season 2 is that, as per Voyager, Los Angeles suffered the San Andreas disaster and sank below the waves near 24th, 25th centuries. Interesting. That is an interesting point, JRC. Is that canon, though? Is that Voyager canon? Okay. Spock equals Leonard Nimoy, says TJ. The story telling is extremely shallow, says Resolute Germ. No one reaches the past, way too reliant on CGI. Political as hell. I could go on, but you get the idea. Yeah. It was particularly disappointing to just be running around Los Angeles in Southern California in Picard season 2. It really was. Hey, Dr. Omega. PJ got beamed up. Yes, I got beamed up to my the Orville. Picard season 1 was a mixed bag. I've not braved season 2 yet. It's actually set in the perfect time period where TNG, DS9, Voyager actors all look the right age, but the writing. Yeah, the writing. Good to see you, Dr. Omega. Thank you for dropping in. The rumor is that Discovery people lost their minds just because Trump was elected president. Yeah, we cannot have current day politics be involved in our science fiction. Social commentary is always important in Trek, has always been important in Trek, but elevating that to the level of using it as a political tool is a mistake. That's Dave's channel. Make sure you're subbed to Dave. With so much chronicling the canon of Trek, chronology, encyclopedia, memory alpha, etc., there is no excuse for the writers to do anything that fundamentally undermines canon. No, there isn't. Then the problem there is really not so. The problem there is a lack of respect for canon and for the fandom. And this is where the heartache and the has comes from the there's a fundamental lack of respect for the fandom and for Star Trek itself. So there can be new takes on Trek, and there's an infinite amount of ways to do new takes on Trek, but remain faithful to what it traditionally is. When you have a built-in fan base, why alienate them? Reinvent themselves instead of expanding on the storytelling. That's a good point, Colleen. Yeah. It's so difficult for an actor to make such a well-known character of their own, where everybody is inevitably going to compare them to the original actor who portrayed it. Yeah, it is hard. It is very challenging. Absolutely. There is no opportunity get to know the disco crew. There's no opportunity to get to know the disco crew, and when they try, those scenes will contrived and weird. Yeah, that's true. That's one thing the Orville is good at doing, letting you take your own lessons. Don't tell you what to think or how to feel. I agree. I agree. And some people were there's a couple of controversial episodes this season in season 3 of the Orville. But even though some people complained, Seth is not taking a position. He's not preaching to anybody. He is laying it out there, and people coming to their own conclusions. And even though some people complain about it, that's just have to compare it. I mean, just compare it to Discovery. I mean, all Seth is doing is laying it out there, and he's not preaching. As far as canon destroying is happening in Star Trek and in Doctor Who, is a terrible trend across all science fiction. It is. I think so. I think that I think we're going to begin to turn a corner here with this. And I know there's a lot of controversy now about whether to support Terry Matalas in the new showrunner for Star Trek Picard. It seems pretty much that we've had some contact with Terry. I have had a lot of indirect people tell me about Terry. I have the feeling he is basically one of us. He's just a hardcore fan who wants to make good Trek. Now, how does the fandom? How do we as the fans handle that? Especially the fans the group of the part of the fandom that's been disappointed. To be honest, that's going to be up to each and every one of you how you want to handle that. I have a feeling, and we'll see more. We'll see more about season 3 Picard and what it's about, and we'll eventually see it. I do think Terry Matalas' heart is in the right place. He's coming from a good place. He's wanting to do some good. He's wanting to heal. We're talking here about the healing in the fandom. The first person who wants to do healing is Terry Matalas. That's what he wants to do. He wants to heal. Was he on Picard season 2 on paper as a showrunner? Apparently, yeah, he was involved in it, but he is also, was not solo and was not giving the reins of because he on paper may be a certain way. It doesn't mean that he was truly given the reins. Apparently, in season 3, he has been given the reins. He's been given the reins completely on season 3, and I'm sure the studio can always, or secret hideout might always limit a few things, but it seems like in general he's been able to do maybe 95. I don't know. We don't know exactly to what deal, but maybe 95, 96%. Now who knows exactly how much percent he's been able to do that he wanted to do. We'll see that, but I do feel that Sonar in Space is hilarious. Hey, King Dolphin, good to see you. Thanks for the raid, King Dolphin. I actually like Lower Decks because I can't take it too seriously. It's a cartoon, so that's what I thought. Um, awesome. That's Resolute's channel, guys. Make sure you're subbed to Resolute. That's why I often don't watch the news. Oh, okay, you guys are talking about the news. Expectations would be different if they had called it something else. Yeah, talking about Discovery thing. Klingons don't care what you do with a dead body once the spirit is gone. But in STD, they had a Klingon sarcophagus ship. That is an excellent, excellent, excellent point, Dr. Omega. The Klingons absolutely are notorious for not caring once the body has the soul has left the body, right? Absolutely, absolutely true. Very good point. Let's not forget start copy and paste the fleet at the end of Picard season 1. This is JRC. Yeah. If New Trek had been called something else, nobody would have noticed it. Exactly true. Nobody would have noticed it because the quality is what it is. So they had to use the name Star Trek. I got to episode 10 of season 4 of Disco, and I have 590 issues in my lot. Hello, Maria. Good to see you, Maria. That was a great pumpkin carving you were doing. It was lots of fun. Thank you for having me. And Maria's going to put up the final results of her pumpkin carving once she does the little. She wants to finish it exactly how she needed to finish it. So calling New Trek something else would remove the continuity issue, but the writing is still a problem. Okay. You're doing you're just waiting for her students, for her meditation students. It's so relaxing watching the Orville in comparison. I can just enjoy the episodes. Yeah, you can just enjoy the episodes. Hello, Jack Beers. Good to see you, Jack. Good to see you, Jack. I will admit that I thought Prodigy was pretty good, says John DeMarco. Yeah, listen, it's for kids, but there's not really anything in Prodigy that, I don't know. I thought in spirit it was pretty good. I agree with John. Relation, but remember PJ became a Trekkie at 6 when TNG aired, and wasn't a direct kids show. TNG was all ages. It was all ages. The fact that LeVar Burton did a Reading Rainbow episode of TNG, yeah. In fact, LeVar Burton did a Reading Rainbow episode of TNG. It was for all ages. Yeah, absolutely. Which is, yeah, there were things that did not seem family oriented. We did see that. We've seen that in certain parts of New Trek. Yes, there's been gross things in Trek before, but there were things that seemed there's a couple things that seemed particularly violent. Yeah, and happy birthday again to Resolute. It was his birthday this week. We don't need new actors playing Spock. Just make new characters and continue the story. I mean, I hear you, but I mean, at some point, it could be understandable to have a new actor because they're not around. But it is also important to just make a new story, and we can't always be delving into the past for sure. As others have said, only Nimoy's Spock the prequels need to stop, says John. Harv Bennett wanted to make Star Trek Academy movie way back in the day. George Takei campaigned against it as conservative. Oh, at cons, I'm sorry. Eventually, JJ, and that started the downfall of Trek. I think Harv Bennett probably would have done a decent job. We did see Starfleet Academy at in both. We did see it come up in TNG and Voyager, and probably DS9. I think is the Voyager episode Future's End where we found out that LA. Oh, okay, Future's End. Thank you, Jersey. Gotcha. It's odd as we are in that episode where, yeah, where Paris and where they go back. Yeah. Um, it's odd that we are actually on the cusp of AI deepfake actors being an easy option. They got to cast the crew. If they got to cast the crew fight, they could totally do it too. They could. I hope they got everyone sub 2. I hope I got everyone sub 2. If not, I'll make sure y'all drop your link here, says Lord Thoth. Nudity, gore, F-bombs have no place in Trek. Exactly. Thank you. Well said, Dr. Omega. It's not necessary. Listen, there may be a moment for it. But you know, it's all in story. There can be a moment for nudity, gore, or F-bombs if it's done in a certain way. In general, it's not necessary. Exactly. Memory Alpha is infected listed. money, says LDG. Stacey Abrams as the president of the United Earth was a disaster. Yeah, you cannot have in the politically charged environment that we live, you cannot have current day politicians as politicians in Trek. That's a huge mistake, and it's wrong. Yeah, it's actually wrong. Hello, Medallion. Good to see you, Medallion. And Medallion gives us 2 cents. Disco sucks. Yes. And I'm not talking about the music, though that could also apply. Yes, absolutely, Medallion. Good to see you. Star Trek should inspire scientists, engineers, visionaries to strive towards the future of humanity. Yeah, older Trek was very inspirational, extremely inspirational. And I'm not sure you could say the same about current. Disco still sucks, but please don't burn your Bee Gees albums, says Galinda. So far, I have absolutely no issues with Orville. Trek on the other hand, I love the Orville. Well, hence Orville Nation. My dream, time the final frontier, U.S. relativity, fixing the broken timeline, erasing all Trek since 205, and exploring the story of the Trek. Ideally, and ideally that would be the ideal, of course, Dr. Omega, to have Q, an episode with Q snap his fingers, and boom, we're back. And let me say this: there's a lot of criticism of JJ, but at least JJ created an alternate timeline in an alternate sandbox for him to play. I do think there's a little bit of respect there for that. At least he saw that. He resolved that issue of creating an alternate timeline. I gave up watching Doctor Who 5 years ago. I appreciate your optimism, PJ, but we've heard the hopium before so long. I have no hopium, by the way, and I respect Troy very much. I want to talk to Troy this week about stuff. I respect all you guys. Now, the thing is, I do think that this Picard season 3 showrunner, Terry Matalas, who was also responsible for 12 Monkeys, which is a very good, well-written, it was very well-written, very well-produced show. In fact, I would even suggest this, if you guys have not seen it, the in-show canon, and keeping track of the in-show canon in a show that has a lot of time travel in it, shows great attention to detail. And that's one of the things that really caught my eye about 12 Monkeys, is the attention to detail. They have to have that attention to detail. And I do think that Terry Matalas is about attention to detail. And I do think he's about loyalty to the traditional Star Trek. I think that he is basically a hardcore Star Trek fan who wants to make decent Star Trek. I do think he's also doing it under the umbrella of the current umbrella of Secret Hideout. But I think we have to keep our minds open in the sense that at some point, Secret Hideout and Kurtzman are going to move on to other things. You know, I wish Kurtzman well to be successful with other projects that are better fitted to his team's talents. There are other projects out there that are better fits for their team, and someday they will not be there. And somebody who loves Star Trek, traditional Star Trek, like Terry Matalas, is no reason to not have him on as a possibility for Trek in the future. I think, in other words, what I'm saying is that probably one of the most important things for Terry Matalas right now is to get a successful season of Star Trek off the ground for his own resume, for his own CV, right? Have you seen Picard trailer yet? And say he wants, and you say he wants to. The new Picard trailer is dark. I think we have to wait and see. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying until we see it, we can't judge it. And there's a problem. There's a problem with judging things without seeing it. And do we not want to support it because because money's going to go to Secret Hideout? Sure, there's very good reason not to support it because money goes to Secret Hideout. But you know what it also does? It also gives somebody who loves Star Trek, somebody who is probably somebody who worked on Voyager and Enterprise. He was a junior person, but he worked on them, and he worked with Braga, Goodman, Berman. He worked with people who are who are doing the Orville now, and somebody who loves Trek. It adds to his resume for down the road, and I do think that that there's a possibility that Terry Matalas might be connected to Trek for a long time. So I understand everybody's negativity with we've had so much disappointment. We've had a lot of disappointment. And this is why I'm talking about the healing process, because we've had a lot of disappointment. Medallion says Terry comes from the old guard, but he has to toe the line of CBS Trek, so he tends to come across very diplomatic in his responses in some of these chats, like when he was with R&B's channel. Exactly. Medallion spits it out very well here. He is from the old guard. He's a younger guy from the old guard. He's probably the youngest you could be from the old guard. He's very diplomatic. But you know what? Coming from another person who's very diplomatic, I'm very diplomatic myself. I understand. And thank you for pointing this out, Medallion. I understand how Terry expresses himself. I understand that he's very aware of the environment he's in. I understand that he's respectful of everybody. I understand that he's also been bombarded on social media with a lot of this is we do have to consider this, guys. The hate, the anger, let's say the anger that people have been feeling for New Trek over the last several years have been pouring onto him, and maybe he doesn't deserve all that hate. Maybe we just have to wait and see what season 3 is about. I'm sad for Worf that he didn't die in battle yet. It's dishonorable for Klingons to get old. Terry could be the Trek answer to Favreau, but unless he's the final word, there is no hope. And that is a good point, Troy, and I want to discuss that. I want to discuss that because, excuse me one second. So apparently, it seems, and I have not, this is not putting words in anybody's mouth, but apparently it seems that on paper he's part of season two, but he he's not ultimately responsible for season two, and or allowed to make changes to season two that he would have liked to have made, and also he apparently started work on season three early. That's why Robert Meyer Burnett has already seen season three, by the way. Pretty much. He's seen pretty much season three. Um, and what is very clear is that when Terry Matalas got the opportunity to work on his own, and has the final word, he pretty much seems to have the final word, maybe except for a couple of decisions, but he pretty much seems to have the final word for season three. He got to work on season three as soon as he could. So the fact that he was on season two is a bad sign. It is, Philip. It is a very bad sign. But he is not responsible in actuality for season two, and that's something that people don't realize. He has been bless the rains down in Antarctica. It says Medallion. The rains down in Antarctica. What is a Medallion? You want to what do you mean by that? Bless the rains down in Antarctica. Those melting glaciers down in Antarctica. 25% difference is a problem. Yes, it is a problem, JRC. 25% different is a problem. Mushrooms in space are even worse than sonar. Yeah. By the way, yeah, space shrooms. By the way, the whole process, the whole idea of the Discovery popping out and popping in, popping out, popping out, and popping back up in certain places was suspiciously very much like Joe Malazzi's idea of the blink drive for dark matter. And, a lot of there was a lot of talk about, how Discovery came up with that concept. So he has said that he is going to follow the same themes and canon violations as first season. You know what? And thank you, Sandra. We're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see. Now, I do want you guys to consider this. Robert Meyer Burnett is one of the most harshest critics of New Trek. He's up there with he's pretty far up there with anybody you can put on that list, and he's at the top of that list, of that critics list, and he seems to think it's good. If Robert thinks it's good, it's probably decent at the very least. So I think we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. Is show run by a real Trek fan? You know what? That's very true, Medallion. And Lower Decks might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it is run by a true Trek fan. That is true. Those 590 issues are just over season 4. Okay. I can speak to Klingon beliefs. Klingons have as many beliefs about the afterlife and humans do. Remember, Star Trek 3 Spock identified a Klingon mummification glyph. STD, I think, right? Yep, I see what you're saying. STD, okay, STD Spock identified a Klingon mummification glyph. I do not remember that, but exactly. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Troy. I still haven't watched Prodigy beyond its premiere when it came out. I thought Prodigy was there's a legacy episode with legacy characters in there. I thought was very respectful to traditional Trek. For being for kids, I thought it was okay. I thought Prodigy was good. It was noticeably outsourced to the troll guys, the two brothers in Nickelodeon. Hello, Sean. I didn't like in STD and Lower Deck. Every straight white male are stupid, evil, or both. You're absolutely right. Yeah, it's got to stop. It's being, you know what it is. The problem is there's a problem with if there is underrepresentation, then let's include everybody and let's be inclusive of everybody. And that's when you see a show like The Expanse, for example, or you see a show like Dark Matter, or you see a show, well, like for example, let's take Dark Matter and The Expanse. Those shows are extremely inclusive of everyone. And there's not even an issue to race. And there's not exhibiting of diversity. It's just there. And it's in the story. All ages back then, you could have adult themes. All ages back then meant you could have adult themes and it would educate kids. Sure. Thank you, Wagyu. It's Rick and Morty style comedy with a Trek license. Everybody is stupid. Even Mariner is getting her comeuppances. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Love that LeVar Burton reading Rainbow on TNG. It was point where I realized he and Geordi are the same person, aren't they? I know, right? Let's not forget kids have access to the internet these days, so they have seen whatever they want. That's true. I find this new Trek vulgar and not suitable for children to watch. In general, yeah, I would agree, especially of STD. And the tones, the undertones of exclusion, and there are undertones there are misandrist undertones in STD, which I think are harmful to kids because it's not showing true inclusiveness of everybody. Personally, I saw RoboCop when I was about 8 years old, and it was excellent. Rick Berman said Star Trek has always been a family show. I believe it has. The reason keep going into the past is to undo what was been done on Intelligent Acts. Okay. Nitpicking nerd. Yes, we're all nitpicking nerds here. You guys are talking about the actual channel. Yes, most of the new Trek is vulgar. Prodigy is the only one I would let my kids. Yeah, I think Prodigy was definitely okay for kids. Yeah, sheer fucking hubris. Yes. Oh yeah, that was bad. That was so bad. I forgot about it until you mentioned it. Sheer fucking hubris. Yep. Resolute Taki take talk down. Yeah, talk down any Trek show. Taki talked down any Trek show that was a Sulu show for 20 years. Oh, Takai. Sorry. Takai talked down any Trek show that was. Yeah. Okay. Sulu, he's the star of the show. Other guys just along for the ride. Yeah, the wait for the Orville renewal is is extraordinary. They're probably thinking, oh, these guys waited 3 years and through COVID. This fandom is special. We can make them suffer for a little bit longer. And they're probably right. We're well accustomed to waiting, but I think it's time. The Orville fandom has been through a long wait. So has the Orville production crew and cast and crew. Everybody has been through a lot with COVID. I think it's a good time to announce. It really is a good time to announce. How about on Seth's birthday? Seth's birthday is this week. That's a good time to announce. By the way, guys, Thursday. Don't forget Thursday. We are doing our members only stream, and finally getting to our members only stream, and we're going to be talking Yaphet. We're just going to be, just in a little, our very cozy environment of just a small group. we're going to be enjoying some Yaphet and Norm McDonald, and as a tribute to Norm, whose birthday was the other day. And we're going to be talking Yaphet and Yaphet's big secret. What's Yaphet's big secret? Yaphet's big secret is a little PJ canon of Orville, which I think makes sense, and it's a nice way to remember Norm and Yaphet together. So and Yaphet doesn't have to disappear. Hopefully they will keep him alive as a memory. A lot of us thought, what will they do with Yaphet? And then, we speculated the gazillion times, and maybe Yaphet's not going anywhere. Maybe he's just going to be there as a memory to Norm, which would be very nice, actually, and it'd probably be good for his family too. Orville is the real new Trek. Yeah, I agree that JJ's separation of the timeline was respectful, says Jack. Yeah, at least it was a smart move. At the very least, it was a smart move. I find optimism is an American trait that the British have never had. We don't have the American dream. I've traveled a lot, Time Prophet, and I do think that Americans are optimistic in a very special way. They think that things are possible. I think that's important. I think it's important to think that anything's possible. And not to say that doesn't happen in the rest of the world, but there's probably a special tone to it here, maybe because there's so much opportunity here. But of course it exists, that mentality can exist anywhere in the world. It made sense that at the time, but these days, Secret Hideout wants to pretend all they do is connected to the older shows, no alternate continuity. Yeah. I really think that at some point it would make sense for Alex Kurtzman and Secret Hideout, his team, everybody working there, most people working there, to go work on a project that better fits them. I mean, Kurtzman wasn't really a Trekkie. He said he was probably a Star Wars guy, but he probably wasn't a Trekkie. And it doesn't mean you need to be a Trekkie to do a good job, but it certainly helps. It certainly helps in respecting the canon, the lore, the fans, etc. And of course, it really does seem that STD was really, STD, especially at the beginning, was very political. I bought 5 medical tricorders when I was 15 and spent time hacking them, installing other electronics like portable TVs, radios, various sensors, later cell phone stuff. Oh, wow. That's cool, Wagyu. Not soon enough, says Medallion. Will PJ cut himself carving a pumpkin? Oh, I already carved with Maria, and Maria is going to put out the final video. She had to tweak she did a great, by the way, Maria did a great, let me just show what Maria did. She did a great logo of the Orville. It was the first time we'd done it, so I kind of did it on the fly. Let me just show what the result has been up till now. She's got to tweak it. She's got to make it better. But let me just show you guys let me see if I can show you Maria's. There we go. It's not done, but you guys can't see it. One second. So this is Maria's. She was carving while we were talking, and so Maria has got the Orville logo there. She could not make the circle. The circle can be made. We can add the circle later on. It's going to be hard because we don't want it to fall apart. So the Orville, she's almost done there. She's almost done. She's got to tweak it, and she's got to do the top part of the logo. So, but that was a lot of fun doing that with Maria. So when she has that done, she's going to have it up. That was fun. And everybody should carve an Orville pumpkin. I'm going to carve an Orville pumpkin this week myself. Orville Nation, worst comes to worst, Lord Bloomcock is going to tread season 3 for. Yeah, worst comes to worst. It's great contact for Doomcock. Yeah, for sure. But listen, I do think that I would ask everybody to keep an open mind until we see it, because, and I would also ask on social media, your anger and your frustration for all these years of Trek should not be directed at Terry Metalis, guys. Direct it to wherever you want, but not to this guy. He's just a big fan who's making Trek, and there might be more to your liking, less to your liking. We'll have to wait, because we haven't seen any Terry Trek until season 3. Because season 2 was not really Terry. He was on paper, just joining the team. He's the new guy on the block, following orders, biting the bullet. And season 3 is where he gets his chance. So we have to judge him on season 3. And we do, we have a lot of colleagues and friends who are YouTubers who decide to judge something before it's been watched. And we can't do that. It's not fair. It's not fair to do that. Now, it's perfectly fair to say that it's perfectly fair to say we don't want this done because it's going to support Secret Hideout, and the money's going to go to Secret Hideout. And if it's successful, it's going to be viewed as a Secret Hideout success. But you know what? I ask you guys to think about this. It can be viewed as a Secret Hideout success, or what? Or really, if it's much, much better. What if season 3 Picard is much, much better than anything that's been put out by New Trek? Don't you guys think that the people at Paramount, because some people at Paramount are tired of Secret Hideout, don't you think they might think, well, listen, this is the first Star Trek show that's been up to par, this season 3 of Picard. Maybe this is the first show that's been up to par. Maybe this is the guy who needs to run Trek. Maybe Terry's the guy who needs to run Trek. That's very likely where I think we might be heading, in my opinion. But anyway, so just don't vent, guys. Years and years of frustration and anger on any one person. I mean, Starbase and ships look nice, but that's about it. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I think the trailer is dark, but I don't think it's a bad trailer. And I do listen. I do want to excuse me. I need something to drink. One second. I do want to say something about Worf, guys, because a lot of people that let me read first Ben Thazer's. Pacifist Worf is a huge leap, and there's zero chance they actually give us a story that earns that transition. I do want to say something about Worf, Ben, because Ben is absolutely right. I do think that a lot of times when Worf has been speaking in the past in canon, Worf's opinion is very much in Worf's frame of mind. And what may be viewed as a pacifist in Klingon terms is not really a pacifist, but more so something like I will use force as a last resort. And there's something I do want to point out about Worf. Worf was raised by human parents. Let's remember that. Worf was raised by human parents. It's important to, if we remember Worf's adopted parents, which is kind of the only parents he really had growing up, they were very different from any kind of Klingon mentality. They were you might very well classify them as pacifists. They were very different. There's always that influence there in Worf not to be a pacifist, but to be slightly more measured and more evolved than other Klingons. So, and what I think we're going to see is I think we're going to see Worf kicking butt. To be honest, I think we're going to see him kicking butt, and but saying like that his his use of violence is the very last step. Maybe we're going to see Worf kicking butt. I think it's more of a I think it's not. I think it's real to me. It's going to become a non-issue once we see the show. To be honest, um, Doug Drexler's influence. Yeah, apparently there's a lot of Drexler's influence. And Terry wanted. We're going to see a lot. We're supposed there's going to be a lot we're going to see that you're going to like visually. Yes, he is amazing. Have you got a ghost in your house? I heard a door cracking. No, I don't have a ghost. You did hear that door, didn't you? It's the breeze. Somebody opened a door somewhere else, and it opens my door. I went to a Star Trek exhibition about. I gotta catch up. About 1995, called The Science of Star Trek, and they had lots of tech from and projections and current tech, like mobile phones and various scanners at the time. Very cool. I mean, think about. We're even like think about what the old communicators, the flip phones used to be, and we're even past flip phones now. We're not. Well, I actually enjoy having a flip phone as my second phone, to be honest. Terry could be the Filoni of Trek. He could, Medallion. He could be the Filoni of Trek. That's a good way to put it. That is a interesting way to put it. Honestly, if Major Grade Nitpicking Nerd was on the sanity checking team of modern Trek writing, then we'd do a lot better. He's in Israel, though. I guess he'd be more likely to influence them if he lived in LA. I believe Terry Metalis is the real deal if and when he puts out something good. Yeah, and that's a very fair assessment, John. Let's wait and see. It's very good that Robert, got to see it, and Robert Meyer Burnett. We haven't seen it, even though we probably trust, or we can probably gauge what our reaction might be from Roberts. We have to see it. So you know what? We're gonna have to judge it when we see it. It's a play on the Toto Song of Africa, says Medallion. Hang on to anger because anger feels better than sadness or accepting the death of our own youth and the hopeful future Trek helped us imagine. Yeah, listen, there can be comfort in feeling anger. That's a very good point. And Colleen is a healer. It's a very good point that you're bringing up, Colleen. Is 25% different thing is still a thing? Having companies merge back together. 25% is still a thing because Secret Hideout is subcontracted to do Trek. So I think it is still a thing. But yeah, they are merged. Viacom, CBS, they're merged. Yeah. The tardigrades. Listen, the tardigrades, it's so evident what happened with Anas and the tardigrades. You can see that you can see that even though they were saying we're not guilty, they stopped using the tardigrade. Well, if you're not guilty, then why did you stop using it? So that's pretty obvious. And it's thanks to Anas that we have Unk on the Orville. So I really hope someday there's a nice gesture to Anas from the Orville. So Wagyu and Medallion are not on the same page with Lower Decks. I've already decided to skip all the new Trek from here on out. If I'm missing out, then so be it. Just can't take the garbage anymore. Yeah, I hear you. Mr. Lindell has been feeling the pain. It's a freaking comedy. Everybody gets a chance to be stupid. If you view Lower Decks in the way that Medallion is saying here, you will definitely have a different experience, for sure. That's true. That's why it's hilarious. The cartoon is the best official modern Trek. I'm not going to convince you to. Okay, you guys are going at it with. Yeah, sheer fucking hubris is a meme of New Trek, guys. No, when Medallion was saying it before, he's not talking to anybody. No, never let them live that down. Yeah, sheer fucking hubris is. I want to see. I want to see a scene in the Orville where. I want to see a scene in the Orville where an admiral's about to go like sheer fucking, and then she's like cut off. Captain says, "I was talking about British." Okay, give me. I unfollowed Takei about 1.5 years. He's kind of mean. Oh my. I was a little disappointed that George could not celebrate William Shatner going to space. I thought that was beneath him. He should have celebrated it, as because I think it's a listen. I think to actually get Captain Kirk or any of that crew in space, shows how far we've come. Right. I think it's a celebration of humanity, and I'm sorry that that Takai did not that George did not celebrate it. Bob Chapek, hey Nate, good to see you. Bob Chapek needs to announce the renewal of the Orville because after Obi-Wan, that terrible She-Hulk finale and lack of interest, or they need some news over there at Disney. Actually, Nate, I think that the announcement of the renewal of the Orville, excuse me, I really think that the announcement of the renewal of the Orville is a guaranteed shot in the arm for Disney. I think they're saving it. It may be also a matter of to see how much money they give Seth. They might still be gauging. I think the renewal is a done deal. I think they might be gauging how much they're going to give for new season. Hopefully they'll give them as much as we can. I want to remind everybody, guys, do what Nate does. Whenever you have a chance, even whenever you're doing stuff, put on the Orville in the background, have it streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu, preferably on Disney Plus if you can, and have it streaming. Enjoy it. You shouldn't be watching it over and over and over again because you do want to keep, you don't want to overplay it for your brain, but having it in the background, setting the tone, setting the right tone for your day. Having the Orville in the background while you're doing stuff, while you're getting ready, while you're doing this or that, that's a good call. So that's what Nate does. That's what I do. So think about it, guys. And of course, if you haven't watched it, if you haven't watched it as much as we have rewatched it, then do a rewatch. Do a rewatch and enjoy it if you haven't. Yaphet, and tell your friends about it. That's really important. Listen, the mouth-to-mouth marketing, word of mouth, mouth to mouth. I'm translating directly from Spanish. You say mouth to mouth in Spanish. The word of mouth marketing, the grassroots word of mouth marketing is the best thing you can do for the Orville. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Tell them you love the Orville. Tell them to watch it. Turn people onto the Orville. It would only do them benefit to cop to all this new Trek was an alternate timeline. Yeah. I wish all this new Trek was an alternate timeline. I really do, Medallion. I really do. Yeah. Cope. I think you're saying Cope, right? Alex, listen, I do want to Wagyu. I feel you, Wagyu. I would refrain from calling people names, because, um, it, it bites us in the ass then. But I feel your pain, Wagyu. I really do. I have not heard that name in a while. Yeah, he's not heard Kurtzman's name in a while. Orville Nation, we need to tell everyone that Andy Masterson hand makes Yaphet figures. I have mine. You've seen on Twitter. Yes, we do have to tell everybody that Andy makes amazing Yaphet figures, and I'm going to talk to Andy this week, hopefully. So yes, um, if you guys have not subbed to Andy, please do. He has a YouTube channel as well. I will wait till the season finishes airing before deciding to watch season. I will wait till the season finishes airing before deciding to watch season 3. I think that when you see, I think that if you see season 3 without having thought too much about what's come before, I think it's something that most of us will appreciate. That's my point of view on that. One win does not save this shit show. You're absolutely right. One win does not save this shit show. And that is why, that is a great point, Medallion. And that is why, I feel that, having a decent, season 3 is important, not for Secret Hideout, but it's important for Terry. And we'll see what happens with Terry in the future. As I said, I haven't seen Picard season 2, but a lot of my friends who watched it said it was great at first, then awful halfway through. I'm so worried. It's not good, Wagyu. I don't think it's good. It's not good at all. Yeah. They need a string of great shows, seasons, not just one. You're absolutely right. Yep. Where there needs to be new than what Medallion. I mean, what to speak to what Medallion is saying. What they need is, new direction. They need somebody else at the helm. They need somebody else at the helm. Of Overcharge. Somebody else needs to have the reins of Trek. I disagree. We can judge them on the trailers. I disagree. We can judge them on the trailers they show us and their past track record, says Nate. Hope all you want. That's simply not going to happen. Season 3 is dead on arrival, says Resolute. Okay. Worf, son of Moog. Worf, son of Moog. Yes, season 3 could be decent, but that doesn't matter in the long run if we keep getting the other crap track. Well, one of the most important things in problem solving is when you have a problem, sometimes you don't see a solution to it. Sometimes the solution is impossible. When you see possibilities, then it can help the problem to resolve itself. And if they see that other people are competent at doing Trek that are already kind of in-house, they could say, they could not renew Secret Hideout again, and let somebody else take the helm. Secret Hideout you're absolutely right. Secret Hideout has to go. Secret Hideout cannot continue to be in charge of Trek. And what I want to say about this is that, don't equate Terry Metalis with Secret Hideout, even though he's doing something under the umbrella right now. Because he's doing something under the umbrella of Secret Hideout right now, it doesn't mean we should equate Terry Metalis with Secret Hideout. It's a mistake. The only guy in the galaxy who can pronounce the synthesizers as the owners intend. Okay. At a certain point, it feels like an abusive relationship. Absolutely, it does. Yeah, Colleen. Yeah, that's why we started out this. We started out this stream. I want to hear gripes. You know what? I want to hear more gripes. I want to hear more gripes, guys. What are other things? What are other things about New Trek that made it feel like an abusive relationship? This is from coming. Let's look at it from Colleen's statement here. What are other things in New Trek that made it feel like an abusive relationship? For me, feeling that it's not all inclusive, as Star Trek has always been, is a mistake for production. Producing a product that does not feel inclusive of everybody. How much more do we wait for it to get better? When is it? We first of all, we should all be moving on to other stuff. We should all be watching other stuff and looking at other possibilities for our science fiction, and moving on to other stuff and watching less and less of, hate watching is not great because, you might review it and stuff, but I don't do any hate reviewing on here. I only review stuff I like. Klingons have never used force as a last resort. Force is always step 1, 2, and 3. I agree, Mr. Lundell. I agree. However, I do think that Worf has always lived between the Klingon world and humanity's world on the Earth, and humanity's world. He's always been in between both worlds, even though he is a Klingon. So that's kind of what I was talking about. I'm not saying I can't accept Pacifist Worf, a good writer. Wow, I'm really behind on the comments, aren't I? I'm not saying I can't accept Pacifist Worf, a good writer could earn it. I just don't believe that the new Trek will earn it. They'll just expect us to accept it. That is a valid point, Ben. That is a very valid point. Listen, in science fiction, anything is possible. How do you approach it? And in fiction in general, how do you approach it? How is it written? How is it addressed? If things are addressed properly, anything is possible. And you guys are just saying that we don't have faith in the writers, which is it's a very logical conclusion not to have faith in the writers. Even if by some miracle Picard season 3 is good, I'm still not going to trust them going forward. And you shouldn't, John. It doesn't, because listen, I want to be very clear on this. Picard, if Picard season 3 is good and you enjoy it, it doesn't mean you trust anything that comes from Secret Hideout, because I do think that it's going to be an aberration from Secret Hideout. And I think that supporting Terry Trek is not necessarily supporting Secret Hideout Trek. And it's more important for Terry to have it under his belt and on his resume, in my opinion. And I don't think you should trust stuff coming from New Trek after, even if season 3 is okay. I'm never sounding desperate, PJ. Resolute. Never sounding desperate. I don't know why you say I sound desperate, but let me catch up. The Phillies game. I don't want to hold on to anger. The anger just keeps resurfacing with every new entry. Fair enough. I'm at hey John Cipolla, good to see you. I'm out of the Trek and Wars business. Yeah, well, it's very logical. You should say that. Because it's wrong to exploit a sentient life to power your crappy plot device. Lower Decks has better continuity than STD. Probably does. Yeah, I don't watch really Lower Decks, to be honest. I've seen a little bit. I wasn't crazy about it. I do hear that season 2 is better, so I will take a look at it. But if I want a Star Trek comedy, I'll watch the Orville. Yeah. I checked out New Trek and anything Star Wars from Disney. Sticks it for me. I'm done. I see. I hear you, Nate. I hear you. Okay, Colleen. And this past World season, they were dropping the shit a lot, and they don't drop the F bomb. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I can't watch Picard. In all honesty, George Takei has become incredibly toxic recently. Yeah, I mean, some people can interpret that. Yeah, I mean, I thought he was toxic I thought he was toxic when Kirk when Shatner went to space. I finally, instead of celebrating it, he was criticizing. I finally discovered autoplay on Disney Plus. Hey, there you go. Put the Orville on autoplay, guys. I'm not interacted with Takai. I've never interacted. I've not interacted with Takai. I had a laugh with Renee Auberjonois and Aaron Eisenberg. Oh, Aaron. I would miss those guys. Oh, okay. Awesome. That's right. I've initiated two new union members this week, a coworker and a customer. There you go, Nate. There you go. Uh, uh, okay, you guys. Uh, um, yeah, I mean, Andor doesn't. You're right. Andor doesn't save Disney Plus, Star Wars. I'm sorry, doesn't save Lucasfilm. Absolutely, it doesn't. I got to watch the last episode of. I haven't seen the last one of Andor. I certainly hope that the first 5 episodes of Andor serve as the great setup for the series, and I hope it moves along a little bit now. Oh, it's my chair creaking. Okay, maybe. J.J. Abrams is about to be kicked off the Warner Brothers Discovery Lab because they paid him a lot of money and he wasn't producing anything. You know, one of the things about, excuse me one second. One of the things about J.J. Abrams is that I think he might have trouble being, I think he might have trouble with original stuff. He might be, he might be good at taking other people's stuff and doing something with it. I'm not saying what he's doing is great, but he might have a problem doing original stuff. And I think that's what Nate is suggesting, of course. It's an abusive relationship. They straight up insult the fans and then tempt us with things that they know we want and give us fucked up versions of it. Absolutely. Yep, I agree with that. Rewriting the past is the biggest crime, says Prophet. Yeah, you want me to paste 12 for seasons? Oh, Wagyu, that's funny. Although I'd only started recording it. You can. I only review stuff I like. If I don't like it, I don't review it because it's negative energy for me. I never believed in hate watching. I believed in giving a show a chance to find itself back to something good, but I often end up disappointed. I would, yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. Pretty much the same way. And the creatives who is running New Trek has no respect for us, the fans, just like an abusive relationship. They treat us like crap. And then said, hate watching. Yeah, I mean, only hope things will improve to a point. Hate watching, still engagement. They want that. Don't give them those ratings. Yeah, it is engagement. I would volunteer to review season Picard with you. Let's talk. Let's talk Captain Fandom Nerd. I actually want to talk to you as well. I got to talk to Resolute. I said the last stream I was going to talk to you. I haven't talked to you, Resolute. I got something sitting to go to the post office for Resolute, so I got to talk to Resolute. I watched STD episode 1 and instantly disliked it. I gotta say, then I saw Picard season trailer and I literally teared up when I saw Data. Then I got the free months of CBS during the pandemic. I gave it a chance. Do you guys remember the excitement? Do you guys remember the excitement we had before episode 1 of Discovery aired? The excitement that was in the air. We even though we hadn't really seen much, we didn't know too much about it. There was excitement about the possibilities of having something decent, and it was so utterly disappointing. Listen, I don't think highly of Rotten Tomatoes, but let me just put this up on the screen. When you look at the Star Trek, when you look at the ratings for on Rotten Tomatoes for Star Trek Discovery, let me just put this up 1 second. When you look at this, and I'm not trying to give legitimacy to or over legitimize Rotten Tomatoes, because especially their tomato meter reading, their critics rating is not trustworthy in general. And I think I'm not sure was the Popcast guys who put out a tweet today. Who was it? The Popcast guys, I think. The critics on Rotten Tomatoes seem more like influencers because they're trying to influence instead of giving a proper critique. There is something very wrong with 87 and 36. There is a disconnect. There is a very severe disconnect here. And what is this? This is obviously, and this, you could say a lot of things about the value on the left and the value on the right. You can say a lot about the audience score and the critics tomato meter score, but this is obviously indicative of a problem. Either you like it enough to keep watching, or don't hate watch to give them justification making it. That's a good point, Medallion. Look, no offense, I don't care if I see season 3 don't as good as it's a lost cause. It's okay, John. I mean, I know all you guys have your opinions, and Resolute, I know you have your opinion, and John, you have your opinion, and good night, y'all. Good stream, PJ. You've heard my gripes already. I think I've heard Jack's gripes for the last few years. I know Jack's gripes. So I'm more just here openly lurking, hearing some other opinions. It was nice to listen. Hey, good night, man. Good night, John. Thanks, Jack. Thanks for joining us. I've been delving into Middle Earth lore, Lord of the Rings. Listen, there's a lot of complaints about Tolkien, and I'm not crazy about. I'm not crazy about the Rings show. I do think it could be a lot worse. Yes, I think it could be worse. But yeah, there's problems with it. I haven't watched. There's a lot of problems with it. I haven't watched Lower Decks since season 1, but that is accurate. Good to see you, Planetary Federations. Mycelium network in and of itself is cool. It's how trees are linked together here on Earth. The The real Paul Stamets is a pretty groovy dude. Yeah, I guess the problem is that so that whole like subspace would be based on the mycelium network. That's kind of where good to see you, Planetary Variation. But thank you, Galinda, for that. I'm a few seasons behind on Lower Decks, but Colleen is back. The the DS9 episode of Lower Decks was a few episodes ago. I'm gonna have to watch Lower Decks. I haven't watched it in a while. Second part, they character assassinated Captain Picard, 7 of 9, Hugh Data. They actually assassinated each other. There's a lot. Yeah. They don't like Manu in Taremi. They don't like him. They got rid of him. They don't like him because of personal issues that they have with him. So, I'm not biggest Shatner fan. I was very happy for him to have the experience. Yeah, I think we all were happy. Yeah, I agree. Takei and Shatner have love-hate relationship for decades. They do. I like the DS9 tribute on Lower Decks. I had just an idea in season 4 of the Orville. We get to see Kelly's family. Erin Gray will play her mother, and Terry Farrell playing her sister. How's it understood? Because her brother-in-law. Okay, that's interesting. Nate. I have gotten a few people to watch the Orville at my job. One of them hates Seth's work but loves the Orville. There are people who don't like Seth's work and they like the Orville. There's also people who love Seth's work and been turned on to the space show. Surprisingly, been turned on to the Orville because of Seth. I just glad. So there's all kinds of fans of the Orville. I just glad something happened on Endor. Otherwise, I'm bored. I'm bored. Okay. You'll enjoy episode 6 of Andor. PJ, it's what they're building to. Yeah. No, I saw episode 6. I haven't seen episode 7. So it's what they're building to. You're absolutely right. So what I hope, Medallion, is that I haven't seen episode 7, but I hope the rest of it moves in a different way. You're probably right in the sense that this is a new little corner of the galaxy of Lucasfilm, and they probably the setup in the episodes, in the first 5 episodes is probably necessary. So I thought a lot about that this week, by the way, and I think it probably is necessary for the whole thing. New Babylon 5. We'll see. New Babylon 5. We'll see what that's like. That should be interesting. All JJ can do is what he's told. He has zero creativity of his own. You're probably right, Resolute. You're probably, I mean, he's probably just the repurposer, like Nerdrotic says he's a repurposer. Gary says it a lot, right? The leaks of Klingorks. Discovery. Oh, the leaks of Klingorks. Oh. Did they leak? I forget. They did leak the Klingorks, didn't they? Discovery Eye. Oh, moment. Yeah, okay. There's a lot of Discovery Eye roll moments. There was excitement when we knew there was a new series coming. When we knew there was a new series coming, I think we were excited in general until we began to hear more and find out what it was. I basically kept. I knew there were issues in the production, especially the whole Brian Fuller thing, and then Alex Kurtzman and stuff. And I kept an open mind until I saw it. I always want to keep an open mind until I see it. I think the only fair way to judge something is to see it. So I thought there was excitement. I mean, Time Prophet says there wasn't that much excitement about it. I was excited, sure, but then it was following Midnight's edge coverage of Discovery before it came out and made me worried. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Season 1 of the Orville made me reason their critics' ratings were absolute trash. They were. the first season of the Orville got hammered by Rotten Tomatoes. There's no post TNG movie Trek. It's all dogma. Maybe I'm just a cynic, but I was never excited for Discovery. Bad from the first moment. Episode. Sorry. I finished Picard season 1. I canceled my fee on CBS Access. It's still at 3 weeks left. When they asked why, I said, "You ruined the legacy of Jonathan Luke Picard." It's good you told them, JRC. I remember being excited for the first episode of Discovery that aired on CBS. Then it was flipping cliffhanger that you had to subscribe to Paramount. Yeah. I was hoping that Discovery was going to end up being a temporal accident that Daniels would appear to fix the timeline. I know, right? So we were always hoping that Daniels would come and fix something, right? I was not excited for Discovery specifically, but the idea of Trek being back on television, and that's probably a proper way. It's probably a better way to express what I was feeling. Yeah, we were excited about Trek being back on television. Hello, Alicia. Good to see you. Nice profile pic there. Hey, Pop Delta. Good to see you, Pop Delta. Disconnect. Yeah, it was a disconnect. It certainly was. It was a funny one. Yes, STD season 1 of STD season 1 or versus Orville season 1 made me. Yeah, there was another great disconnect there between how season 1 of Discovery was viewed in season 1 of Orville. That was, absolute nonsense. Something is definitely a tad off with this, says Alicia. Hey, Donnie. Good to see you, Donnie. You can share your gripes of New Trek here. We're doing some group therapy here for Trekkies. Rotten Tomatoes gave She-Hulk a 90 and gave Black Adam a 43. Really? A 43? Damn. Yeah, they're smoking crack over there. Yeah. I'm not crazy about She-Hulk. I haven't seen all of it. I've seen part of it. It seems like it has its audience. But yeah, Nate is right. 90% for She-Hulk and 43 for Black Adam. You guys are saying the Black Adam is really good. I mean, everybody who's seen it says it's good. So yeah. Listen, you know what? And that's what this is. I think the podcast guys were saying it. Like I said before, it does seem like that the critics for Rotten Tomatoes are just influencing instead of critiquing. They're working as influencers. Rotten Tomatoes is useful in that I can take the exact opposite of the critic. I know, right, John? I know. I was like, that's kind of the thinking behind you using Rotten Tomatoes now. Just do the opposite of what they say. I personally quit watching Discovery halfway through season 3. Quit Picard midway through season 2. Lower Decks and Prodigy after season 1. I hear you, Planetary Federation. Guys, don't forget that on Thursday we have Yafet's Big Secret. We're just going to be talking, enjoying Yafet and Norm. Well, what's Yafet's Big Secret? What's Yafet's Big Secret? Well, Yafet's Big Secret is some kind of PJ canon that PJ came up with for Yafet. So it's just a little fun and just a nice way to remember Norm. His birthday was last week. And so Seth's birthday is this week, by the way. I think it's the day after the Saturn Awards on Wednesday. And so it's going to be, don't forget to say happy birthday to Seth on Wednesday, right? Is it Wednesday? I think it's Wednesday. Yeah. And I'm sure you guys will see tweets about it. I don't even hate the majority of the Discovery crew. It was just Burnham drove me up the wall. That is a great point. And by the way, the fact that so Sarek has this adoptive daughter, that just single-handedly starts a war with the Klingons and uses her logic to justify it. The writing is absolutely atrocious. The writing is atrocious, and you're absolutely right, Medallion. Burnham was like the big problem, not the actress, but the character of Burnham. The actress is fine. The most of the actors, you can't really blame them for anything. They're just wanting to work, and the characters are, Tilly is like likable in certain areas, but it was hard to believe she was an actual officer on a Starfleet vessel, the way she behaved. So again, it's not the actors, it's the writing of the characters. It's unfortunate to see how the science fiction franchises have progressed in a downward spiral. Unfortunate, says Alicia. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Colleen's channel, please do. She is kind of a newer channel to our community, so that's her channel. Please sub to her channel. Lower Decks is my number 3 modern Star Trek show. Prodigy is my number 2, and Strange is my number 1. Still, I don't judge those who prefer 19. It's interesting because Donnie, I see Donnie in all sorts of chats. Donnie's all over the place. Donnie is on Doomcock. Donnie is in Nerdrotic, I think. Donnie is on Seventh Rule. Like he's all over the place. So Donnie has an interesting perspective on everything. Good to see you, Donnie. Truth, they need a strong redwood foundation. Oh, really? You never knew Seth was until the Orville, says John. Interesting. It's just very abstract as a mycelial network. Yeah. That's weird. I do find myself correcting people who assume I love all of Seth MacFarlane's stuff when I say I'm a fan of the Orville. Interesting. Discovering Picard are my okay modern Star Trek shows, though. I don't judge those who hate them or those who love them. I myself am more hyped about the return of Prodigy, though. You were talking about it earlier, Donnie. Prodigy is for what it is. It's a kids show. It's not bad. I didn't see problem. Like I don't see issues with Prodigy. Like I don't see any issues with Prodigy. Like to me, there are zero issues with Prodigy. Probably because the guys who put it together are really not. It's not really a secret hideout project. It's like it's an outsourced project to the Troll movie guys and to Nickelodeon. Yes, season 1 of the absolutely season 1 of the Orville. Yeah, it's in limbo, right, Nate? Yeah. Cosmic Fury. I wish they had more fan base critics to write these sites so they have a more better perspective. Yeah, it's not objective. Tired of movies being turned into TV shows, says John. I mostly trust the IMDb scores after a few years when they've had time to prune away the bots and such. That's an interesting point, Wagyu. That's an interesting point. Have you ever thought about becoming a psychologist? Well, that's funny because I am a psychologist. I am, Prophet. I think you know that. Oh, you're just busting my balls. Trek back on TV that depresses people versus Trek back on TV that depresses people. Yeah, but we didn't know we were getting before, right? Like before, before we saw Discovery. I mean, there was a couple warning signs, but until like we can't. I mean, what we did not know it was going to be this. We did not know it was going to be year after year after year of bad Trek. It's not even Trek, to be honest. Colleen is please share your links in case Colleen has not. Alicia, share your channel. You have the wrench. Please share your channel, and in case you're not, Colleen's not subbed to you. Jan J.J. Abrams is not a smart writer. In 2009 Star Trek film, why the hell would you build a ship on the ground? That's so stupid. Oh, the ships being on the ground is, yeah, it's not the. It doesn't make the most sense. Plus, there's something that a lot of people don't discuss here. It's not just the fact about the ship being on the ground, but a lot of materials for the ships probably come from asteroids, to be honest, or from other places, not from Earth itself. So the shipbuilding materials are probably off-world, most of them. Instead of mining the Earth, they probably get them from somewhere else. So yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point, Nate. No more mystery boxes. Oh, the mystery box. Oh, it's interesting because the mystery box could get you hooked for a while, like on Lost. But in the end, in the end, it's a freaking disaster. Lost is a disappointment. And you thought you were hooked on for something, and then they kept throwing you this way and that way and this way and that way and this way. There's no resolution to any of the mysteries. Then it's only a perpetual mystery box with no resolution. So what's crazy is the Orville season 2 Rotten Tomatoes score was in the 90s. Because I think it was in the 90s because they had no choice. They had to. I mean, because it's good. Season 2 was excellent of the Orville. Season 2 of the Orville was excellent. Season 2 of the Orville, even now, there's a lot of people who think, I mean, there's aspects of, season 3 is different. Okay, let's just say season 3 is different. There are a lot of people who say season 2 of the Orville is the brightest part of the Orville for them. Now it's different. It's hard to compare because season 3 of the Orville is different, and that's probably a good idea that they call it Orville New Horizons because it's different. Now season 3 of the Orville has gone places that we thought the Orville couldn't go in many ways, right? It's just the Orville is just great. I don't know what to say. Everybody has their preferences. I enjoy the humor. I think the humor doesn't take away from the. I think the humor does not take away from it being great, and it from Captain Ed Mercer being a great character. I don't think the humor takes away from Mercer at all. I know Seth wanted to take Ed Mercer in a more serious direction, but I don't know. I don't think the humor the humor has been passed around. Like, see, there's all kinds of humor. You can have humor. You can have situational humor that is appropriate for the context of the show, and I do think we've seen that in season 3. So anyway, I think I'm just rambling. Sorry, we'll just go on. That's Lisa's channel, by the way. I was never a She-Hulk fan, but the twerking scene is what pissed me off. But the twerking scene pissed you off. Oh, the twerking scene. Black Adam is entertaining. It's not good, says Medallion. Okay. So do you guys do? Let me ask you this, because I'm probably going to go see it at some point. Who here recommends going to see Black Adam? If you guys recommend going to see Black Adam, please let me know in the chat. I'm asking everybody. If you've seen Black Adam, should I go see Black Adam? I'm probably going to go see it anyway, but the creators of She-Hulk has come out and said they had no intention of making a good show. They just wanted to troll the trolls and say you to the fans. Oh, wow. I remember when the critics hated the original Star Wars. Critics. Black Adam. I always wait for streaming since DC hasn't been impressing me since the okay. Since the Joker. Okay. I'm headed to Houston next Friday, says John Sapola. Alrighty. When Burnham started, I'm going to catch up the chat. When Burnham started doing this whole whisper crying thing, I checked out during season 3. Oh God, Burnham is such a hard character. Yeah, I wonder how much the actress is satisfied with the writing. She's probably just enjoys the work, but Tilly was annoying. She was a little bit annoying, yeah. Kevin Sarah is, but yeah, I think Sarah is probably the best of the bunch there, right? Yeah. Tilly with the marathon. Do you guys? Yeah, listen. I don't. You shouldn't criticize anybody for anything. You shouldn't criticize the actors for anything. But you have to be realistic. Making Tilly the marathon champion was silly. Yeah, I mean, the actor should have come out and said, like, "Come on, guys." The writing discoveries is terrible, and they should have started off in the 32nd century. They should have. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap up soon. I want to just remind everybody, Thursday, I'll be posting the time. Thursday, we have members only stream, and we'll be talking Yaphet's big secret. What is Yaphet's big secret? It's some crazy canon that PJ's come up with. And so Yaphet, we're going to be talking Norman Yaphet on Thursday on the members only stream. So when you go to the community, of course, you go to the community tab for that. And it will be our first members only stream. So again, the memberships, guys, all we have is we will have down the road for sponsors, we'll have a different tier. But as far as regular members, the only thing we have is the $199 flat rate for everybody, because I want everybody. I don't want it to be something accessible, not something you have to think about for for being a membership in the long term. Just want to have everybody on board, as many people as we can, to enjoy our stuff with. Donnie is omnipresent. He is omnipresent. Yeah, Donnie's freaking omnipresent. That's the best thing. Best way to describe him. I do like Seth's work on Cosmos. Yeah, Seth's work on Cosmos is good. I have to see the End is Nigh still. I haven't seen that. Yeah, it seems interesting. I want to see that. I haven't seen it. I keep hearing how good Prodigy is, but I'm still not on board with the concept. I don't watch I don't watch a bunch of CG kids piloting a starship. I'd be interested to see. The thing is, you got to get by the first episode. You got to get by the first episode for Prodigy, though, to appreciate it. But it'd be interesting to see what Medallion thought if you ever do watch it. All right, guys. Well, it's awesome to have you. Thank you all. Guys, don't forget to sub to each other. There's a scene in Alias which closely resembles the start of the Star Trek movie with Kirk driving the car. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Why have I think I've heard somebody say that before. That sounds familiar. I thought the movie reboot Enterprise was the movie reboot was okay. Yeah, I love TOS, TMP. I love the motion. I like the motion picture. I like the motion picture Enterprise. I think the JJ Enterprise and the Beer Factory was a miss. I think it's a miss. Especially speaking of misses. Hey, douchebag Kylo. Kylo, we started talking about gripes, and we wanted to hear people, let people give a chance for people to express their gripes about Trek. I also talked about Terry Matalas, the season 3 showrunner for who is really for Star Trek Picard. He's really only a season showrunner of Picard 2 season 2 on paper, and not in actuality. I just wanted to have people have an open mind for season 3. And I also wanted to say that season 3, I want to repeat this, season 3 of Picard, if it's good, support Terry. Doesn't mean you support Secret Hideout. I don't think Secret Hideout can fix what they've done. Secret Hideout cannot fix what they've done. Can Terry Matalas give us a new future? I think it's a possibility. There's a possibility there. At some point, Secret Hideout will not be around anymore, and Alex Kurtzman and his crew will go to do other stuff that's more appropriate for them. They might be good. They might be good at Secret Hideout. Might be good at doing other stuff. They're not good at doing Star Trek, so they might be good at doing other stuff. They should go try other stuff. So that's what you missed. And Thursday, douchebag, we have our first member stream. So talking Yaphet and Norm. So that's where we're going. Thank you guys for hanging out, everybody. Super chat from Maria. Let me see. What is that about? What is that? Super sticker from Maria. Oh, and one from Wagyu. Let me just check this out, guys. Where did I put that? I want to see what the super sticker is. And let me just see. I can't see the super stickers on StreamYards. So Maria. All right. Maria super sticker is a black cat. Very appropriate for Halloween. Thank you, Maria, for black cat. And that's actually Maria's black cat. She has a black cat. That is on that super sticker. So thank you, Maria. Thank you, Maria, for that super sticker. And we had a great stream with Maria before in the pumpkin carving. Super sticker from Wagyu. Thank you. Keep it up, Wagyu, with the 5 Swiss. Thank you. Thank you, Wagyu. I appreciate that. Good to see all of you guys. I want to say thank you, everybody, for hanging out. It's nice to be streaming again. Things have calmed down a little bit. Hopefully we'll be able to continue at this pace and step it up a little bit. We got to get those streams going. We're going to be doing, I've been saying it for a while. We're going to be doing Orville en Español, La Nación Orville. So we got some things coming, but the most important thing on the grill for this week is first member stream, Yaphet and Norm, talking Yaphet and Norm. So thank you, Wagyu and Maria. I do think that Maria says we needed this healing stream. I do think people see. Let me just touch upon this before we leave. 1 second. I do think people have been very frustrated. People have felt hurt, betrayed. You hear like YouTubers like our friend Doomcock is somebody who deeply feels his love and passion for Star Trek. People like that, people like us, because many of us are like that, feel heartache, true heartache, from what's happened in Star Trek. And I think it's important to be able to express ourselves. So I do want people to be constructive, though. Don't go after somebody who just came on board. Terry Matalas is somebody who just came on board to Star Trek very, very short time ago. And we cannot unload years and years of frustration onto somebody like Terry Matalas, who is probably just one of us wanting to make good Trek. Yes, he's a professional in Hollywood, but he is basically just a fan who wants to make good Trek. Whether you want to watch it or not, that's fine. But I would ask for we need to have a safe space like this to express ourselves and our frustration. I think social media poisons us sometimes, and the fact that if you can't say what you're going to say to somebody's face, like, and if you wouldn't say in real life face to face what you would on social media, you probably shouldn't say it. It's important how we treat each other, and how we treat each other, on social media means how we communicate with each other. So it is important not to be hostile to people. It is important to be diplomatic. It is important to express yourself without being rude. It's important. You can do this. You can express yourself without stomping on other people. You can express yourself. And I do think that we can all do better on social media. So I think we should do better on social media. We can all do better on social media. So that is the thought I leave you with. And another thought too is Morville. We need Morville. So thank you to everybody. Thank you, Medallion, Maria, Wagyu, Galinda, Nate, Time Prophet, Colleen. So glad to have you in our community, Colleen. JRC. Oh, JRC, thank you for the super chat, JRC. I appreciate it. Let me just check out that super sticker from JRC99. Thank you, JRC, for that super chat, that super sticker. Let me just, the fist bump. Absolutely. Fist bumps, JRC. Thank you, my friend. Professor Brainy Specs, thank you, my friend, for hanging out with us. It's good to see you. Douchebag Kylo, John DeMarco, everybody, Maria. Let me just go through again. John Sapola, Maria, Medallion, Galinda, Louise Sparrow, Nate, Resolute Germ, Colleen O'Brien, Wagyu, everyone, JRC 99. I'm going to repeat names: Douchebag Kylo, John DeMarco. I just want to make sure we get everybody as far back as I can go. I want to thank everyone for being here. Donnie Pearson. Donnie, it's good to see you, man. Donnie is everywhere. Omnipresent Ben Thatcher, good to see you, my friend. Planetary Federation Unions, good to see you. Thank you for hanging out with us, everybody. Alicia and Jack. We had Jack in here before, and then Alicia. Good to see all of you guys. Scrolling back to see if I see anybody I haven't mentioned. And yeah, there's several people in here before. Resolute Germ, John Sapola, good to see everybody. Thank you guys, and have a happy weekend. We will see each other Thursday, and we'll probably see each other before that, actually. So I will be posting if I can stream before that. But Thursday, we have our member stream. So good night, everybody. Good morning, or good evening, midday, morning, wherever you are. Take care. And don't forget Maria's pumpkin, her finished pumpkin. This is her first try at an Orville logo. She's going to post that soon. Bye, guys.